Hello and welcome. We are back after a month of contract negotiation, holdouts, TV rights. We are back. It is college basketball season. Are you ready, Peter?
I am ready to go.
Baseball season came to an abrupt ending. The Mets lost. We don't need to talk about it. One door closes, another one opens. College basketball season underway. November 13th kicked off. The season starting hot. And we are looking forward to an outstanding year.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have a lot of good freshmen, and not only that, a lot of great players who have returned for their sophomore, junior, and even senior seasons.
Yes, definitely. You know what? Why not? Let's start local. The Seton Hall Pirates of Newark, New Jersey. Seton Hall, currently 5-2. Coach Kevin Willard in his fourth year. How would you assess their progress thus far?
I mean, we all know Seton Hall, it's not a big-time program, but they can get players. I mean, Isaiah Whitehead has struggled so far in his first 2 years, but coming out of high school, he was a big recruit coming out of New York City, and it just proves that, even though there have been struggles, especially last year, they had a whole falling apart. The whole team chemistry was shot.
As you mentioned, Isaiah Whitehead last year was a freshman, this huge star, and then junior Sterling Gibbs, Scotch Plains product, transferred to Seton Hall, and then he transferred away from Seton Hall as there seemed to be locker room issues. Jaron Cena, another New Jersey kid, transferred away from Seton Hall. So Isaiah Whitehead is a bit of a cancer in the locker room, it seems as if. But hopefully, it's a new beginning, new teammate, new year, as we mentioned. Hopefully, he's starting to progress, get along better, and I don't know, I hope things change in the future.
I mean, there's talent on this team. You can't deny it. I mean, Whitehead, he's raw, but if he can learn to shoot the basketball better, he has a lot of potential. They have guys like Delgado, Carrington. We're not talking about, low quality players. These are guys who can contribute on a lot of teams around the nation.
Yeah, certainly. As you mentioned, Kadeem Carrington, one of those nice lefty guards, which seems to he really knows how to use it. The defender knows he's going left, but that doesn't matter. He has that unbelievable floater that's just almost automatic, it seems like. And the combination of Whitehead and Carrington at the guard, I feel like is so strong, 1-2. If they just find one or two big guys, they can be a serious contender in the Big East.
Yeah, they definitely can. I mean, the good thing about having Whitehead, playing a guard spot, he's a little bigger, he's about 6'6", large wingspan, so he can really, key up those shooters he's going to have to face in the Big East.
Yeah, but although they've had their struggles already, as we mentioned, 5-2. They've already lost to Long Beach State in the tournament game in South Carolina. It was a terrible loss, 3 points, not necessarily the biggest deficit, but what it means going forward. Is this going to be the same Seton Hall as usual, losing to Long Beach State, just going to be bottom to middle of the pack of the Big East? Or are things finally are they finally going to be able to turn it around? Just when? I feel like it's always next year. When is it this year?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be this year. I mean, if anything, last year was the year, but because some locker room issues, they had a lot of talent last year. If you saw them play, you saw, Whitehead was raw.
So maybe is it coaching? Because they had the talent. Is it coaching?
At a certain level, can Willard really control this locker room? We don't know what goes on in there. We really don't know a lot, like, what goes on in this locker room. So I don't want to, say anything that we don't know, but at a certain point, you gotta start asking questions.
I like Kevin Willard, although one thing I really don't like is it seems he only cares about one side of the ball. He doesn't care about defense. They live and die by the three to the extreme. It's hard. If you're off one night, Seton Hall's not winning. It's hard. Yeah, you'll have that one night where you shoot 50 to 60% from the field, but that's once in a blue moon. Even if your offense isn't shooting well, at least your defense, you need to focus on defense, especially early on in the season.
That's really true, and I think that goes back to your point earlier about the need of big man, because when that three's off, your mid-range jumper is probably going to be off as well, because those, are interrelated.
Yeah, and they're settling early in the shot clock, but hopefully the sophomore guard duo of Carrington and Whitehead, hopefully there's a bright future. Hopefully next year or the year after is the year, hopefully. And this Saturday, they play the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Oh, boy.
The Battle of New Jersey. Seton Hall has dominated the past couple of years. Doesn't look different. Rutgers this year, already 3-4 on the year. Peter. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights, the men's basketball team, it's atrocious. Terrible.
where should we start? I mean, they're at one of the worst arenas in the nation at the Rack.
The Rack holds 6,000. It's a high school gym. Terrible. Oh.
There's few good seats at all in that gym.
Yeah, it's empty. But I don't blame the fans. Why would you want to go see a team? Terrible. They've been the same for the past 20 years. What have they done? Where's the progress? Every 5 years, it's a new coach. Eddie Jordan has to go. He has to go. They are 3-4, as we mentioned. His first year, they had 12 wins. Second year, they had 10 wins. They seem to be decreasing every year. He has no new recruits lined up. He has no talent, but you have to recruit to get talent, Peter.
I think that's the key to saying is recruit. We're in a hotbed for basketball town here in New Jersey. You look at some of the guys I know go places. I mean, you see Kyrie Irving, Michael K. Gilchrist, Isaiah Briscoe now at Kentucky, Karl Anthony Towns, #1 pick. There are players here.
Yeah.
None of them stay. And that's clearly a problem that Rutgers needs to address, much like their football team. They can't keep talent in the state. And if you can't do that, it's going to be really tough to have a state university like Rutgers be good.
Yeah, it just shows their big win last year against Wisconsin was such a fluke. They had a big win, they stormed the court, it was a huge deal. Since then, terrible. Okay? Absolutely terrible. I'm embarrassed as a Rutgers supporter. Every year, I just know consistently we're going to be at the bottom of the Big Ten. Big Ten is a great conference, especially for basketball. But come on, there's no light at the end of the tunnel for me, especially with this guy at the helm.
I mean, I don't think there is a light at the tunnel for Rutgers. I mean, there needs to be some. I mean, overhaul's already coming again, second time. And then a couple years, you have a new AD coming in. There needs to be full overhaul of that program. Something needs to be done. I don't know what it means. Does it mean going for something different? Maybe trying to get, a high school coach. Maybe try to get a really high-profile assistant. But the thing is, why would they want to go to Rutgers? That's what I'm going to be asking myself.
Yeah, 100% agree. And you want Rutgers basketball in a nutshell? Earlier this year, they're playing St. John's on the road. St. John's rebuilding. Chris Mullen at the helm. So St. John's is in a bit of a rebuilding stage. Rutgers has the lead. 16-point lead on the road, 6 minutes to go. You guessed it, folks. Rutgers lost. Those are games you absolutely have to win. Those are games where if someone's going to say, am I going to go to St. John's or Rutgers as a recruit? You have to win that game to stand strong and make someone want to go there. Why do I want to go to a team that blows a 16-point lead? Obviously has no coaching. He misused his timeouts in the first half. The refs were terrible, I'll give him that. But you can't blame the refs. At the end of the day, a loss is a loss. Eddie Jordan, come on. 16-point lead. St. John's is a young team. I expect much better. And that's just, for me, that was the tipping point. He has to go.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You can't lose those games, especially out-of-conference, local teams where St. John's, a more high-profile basketball team. I mean, again, you're right on it. You can't lose out-of-conference games to teams like St. John's that are local by, where you're fighting recruits for them. And why should they go to Rutgers when they can go to St. John's, better profile? I mean, you're going to play for Chris Mullen, an all-time great who can teach you so much. And what can Eddie Jordan teach you? That's what we're going to be asking ourselves.
Hopefully the new AD, Pat Hobbs, hopefully he'll realize, he'll wake up. And as a Rutgers supporter, I don't even want Eddie Jordan to last the season. Get him gone. Better early than never, please. Better early than later in the season. Before this season, it just gets out of hand. I am done. So Seton Hall, Rutgers Saturday. We'll see. But hey, let's get a little bit more upbeat. How about the Monmouth Hawks at the MAC, Mid-Atlantic American Conference? The Monmouth University of Long Branch, 4-2 upset wins over UCLA at Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles and beat Notre Dame. Wow.
I mean, they have set fire to the rain this season, I must say. I mean, you only get one high-profile win, you get two. And I mean, just think about it. I mean, Monmouth, by the end of the season, we're not going to be talking about them, They're going to, I mean...
I disagree, but...
But you know what I mean, like, we're, it's Final Four season, we're in the season, we're not going to be saying, hey, remember, Monmouth,
in April,
Yeah, but I mean, to have this now for them, I mean, you just kind of feel great for those kids, because,
well, have you seen their bench? Their bench is maybe the biggest highlight of the team. They're going crazy. There's a whole segment on ESPN about them. They're having fun. They're winning. what's not to have fun when you're winning and you're beating historic programs, possibly the most historic program in UCLA.
I mean, isn't this what college basketball is all about?
Definitely.
You know, guys who stay 4 years, have fun, and they're playing for the love of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, they're playing because they love it, and it's always great to see teams like Monmouth, teams like a few years ago, Davidson with Steph Curry, teams that play because they want to play.
And also, I don't think this win is a fluke. I'll tell you why. Because, yeah, UCLA's first game, you could say, all right, maybe they didn't have a chemistry. But then Monmouth went on to lose to USC early on in the season. And then they had a rematch with USC later on in a tournament, and they beat them. That shows me they're progressing. That UCLA game is not a fluke. I'm telling you, people. They're coaching. They know what they're doing. Surprisingly, they only have one They only have one senior, but it seems that, as you mentioned, they're playing together, playing as a family. It's not about one person. It's about the team. And that's where I think they might take the next step. They might win the conference and get into the tournament. I believe they can do it, and they will do it.
I mean, that's a big leap. I can see them making it to the tournament, but could this also be a stepping stone? We've been talking a lot about these last, both NJ programs, Seton Hall and Rutgers. When's it going to be the next step up for them? Maybe, Monmouth. I mean, if they keep this up, that's great. As you said, one senior. So would next year then maybe be the year they have these high-profile wins, confidence booster. They keep progressing, improving. Maybe a fluky game in the MAAC tournament, and they lose.
Hopefully not. But
I mean, I would hope not either. But if that happens, you can only say, all right. Then they have a drive.
Yeah,
something that will motivate them.
So Monmouth, they do play Rutgers and Seton Hall this year, so that'll be an interesting matchup. But we'll see, and we'll just see how it goes and ride it out. And hopefully Monmouth at least represents New Jersey proud, because obviously the other teams aren't. I hate to say it, but now let's shift. Let's shift to more of a national scheme. The Big Ten ACC Challenge was this past week. Many people, excluding myself, thought the ACC, this was the year. They were going to upset the Big Ten, finally win the challenge. Dan Goodman, Seth Greenberg, all the ESPN analysts wrote columns and columns and spoke about how this was the year ACC is going to turn it around. But guess what? They were wrong. The Big Ten standing strong, winning the challenge 8-6.
I mean, we're not talking about either two great conferences for basketball.
Certainly.
I mean, Big Ten, you make the case, is the best. I'd probably say is the best conference. But I mean, I'd say ACC's, right behind them. I mean, it's not too far of a distance, but I mean, we're talking about, both teams have top profile teams. But I think the real key is that the Big Ten has more depth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna point to that. Look at that. From there are 14 teams in the Big Ten. Teams 1 to 10 all have a chance at the tournament. So that's just unbelievable in my eyes. Some notable games from the challenge: Duke, Indiana, number 7 Duke won at Cameron Indoor 94-74. Indiana had a hot start, then eventually Duke Blue Devils, as they always seem to do, caught up and won the game at the end. Unbelievable.
I mean, Duke, defending national champs, lost a lot of guys. They have quality players on that team.
Brandon Ingram looks unbelievable.
He looks really good. I mean, Grayson Allen,
oh yeah,
hero in the national title game last year. You kind of had a feeling he was going to come back and just, really elevate himself to that next level. And he definitely has. I say he's the best player on that team so far.
And Indiana, just like Seton Hall, they have no defense. Just like Rutgers, they need a new coach. Tom Crean is terrible. Look how much talent he has. Yogi Ferrell, a 4-year starter. Troy Williams, James Blackman, they have so much talent. Come on. He doesn't care about defense. His coaching is terrible. He always takes out the wrong guys just when they're getting hot. They live and die by the 3 to the extreme. The Indiana fan base, I think, is getting enough. They've seen it. That 10-year extension was terrible. They're regretting it now. Tom Green has to be gone at the end of the year.
I mean, Indiana, again, a program with so much history. And it's just the last, 10, 15 years, they had the Zeller years where they were good. But other than that, it's mediocre. And Indiana shouldn't accept that. I know another place where they can get talent to come there. It's just a matter of recruiting.
And another game that caught a lot of attention was 9th-ranked UNC Tar Heels versus the 2nd-ranked Maryland Terrapins. UNC, Marcus Page's first game back all year, UNC upset Maryland 89-81 at North Carolina.
I mean, a battle of probably the two best point guards in the country, Melo Trimble at Maryland, journalism student at UNC, Marcus Page. I mean, coming off injury, I mean, they can not only score, but what's great is that they can facilitate.
Oh,
And I think that's really the key, because in today's game, most of the
can't be one-dimensional.
Yeah, especially, and you look at those teams, if either of those guys are shut down, they have options to go to, and it's also about still facilitating, because they're going to get double teamed, they're going to get pressure no matter what. It's about finding those guys and making them work.
And this game, UNC defeated Maryland, but Maryland, they shouldn't panic at all. You lost to 8 on the road to a good UNC team. Maryland, for me, they're a team to watch, not only this year, but in years to come, because they have incoming freshmen like Diamond Stone, but then they also have seniors like Jake Layman, Rashid Sulam on the transfer. So they're a very dangerous team. They have so many weapons. Melo Trimble, unbelievable guard. His passing, spectacular. He can shoot, he can pull up, he plays the pick and roll game very well with Diamond Stone. That's something to watch in the future, certainly for me. And then if they start to click on defense and just maybe build chemistry a little bit more, I'm watching out for the Maryland Terrapins this year.
Oh, I can't agree with you anymore. I mean, this is a team that people at beginning of the season are like, oh, Maryland,
Yeah.
This isn't the early '90s. This isn't
Yeah.
I mean, this is a while since they've been relevant nationally at this stage. But I mean, it shouldn't really shock anybody. You look at that team. Trimble was great last year. He could have been a top 10 pick easily if he left.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Rashid Suleiman. I mean, the ending at Duke was abrupt and sad. I mean, we're still talking about a quality ball player who can shoot the 3-ball well, which in today's day and age is something you like to see. And Diamond Stone is a very impressive freshman.
And don't forget, Mark Turgeon's a great coach. He's had success before. I expect him to do it again. And from UNC's aspect, they got upset earlier this year, Northern Iowa, but they didn't have their star player Marcus Page in their defense.
And I mean, that's also Northern Iowa. I'm not talking about a terrible team here. Quality team, tournament team every year. I mean, a while back they defeated Kansas in that big upset in the tournament. It was a while ago, but I mean, this is a quality program that has quality players.
Certainly, and early on in the year, it's November. We'll give them a break. It's November. Everyone just relax. No need to panic down there in Chapel Hill. They'll get it together. I trust Roy Williams.
Oh yeah, I mean, they just have a tremendous amount of talent and potential on that team. Johnson, I mean, the loss of Tokuto is a loss, but I mean, they're not losing any offense with him gone. It's just the defense, but Williams can make it up with players he has on the team.
And Marcus Page, for me, I think Marcus Page and Melo Trimble can possibly be National Players of the Year, if not certainly candidates. Those, for me, are players to watch this year. Marcus Page, he's so good. Lefty, his pull-up game, unbelievable. He seems to be a smart player. He doesn't force things. He knows when he's hot. He knows when he's not. If he's not hot, he'll pass the ball. He'll get other players involved. Melo Trimble as well. He's a good pull-up game. Great pick and roll with Diamond Stone, as I mentioned before. Great facilitator. So for me, those are players to watch this year. What about you, Peter?
I mean, I agree with you. Those are definitely two guys to look out for that have returned. But my guy, Ben Simmons of LSU. I mean, what can't I say about this guy? His worst shooting game, he went 1 for 6, scored 4 points. Still managed to grab 16 bounds.
I've never seen a big guy pass as well as he does.
He just looks so comfortable dribbling the basketball. I mean, the only part of his game you can say he needs to work on is the 3-ball, but he doesn't shoot the 3-ball at all. I mean, if he can develop that, I mean, we're looking at a guy, he's going to go number 1. If he doesn't go number 1, it's probably because, I don't know, maybe the Pelicans get number 1, they want to pair him with Davis. Because I don't think that combo would work well. But I mean, other than that, I'm looking at a guy who's going to average, 18 and 15 this year. I mean, it sucks because LSU's not a good team.
I watched one of their games earlier this year against NC State. Their offense, give the ball to Ben Simmons, let him do the rest. They're so stagnant, I just don't see it. So, I don't know.
I mean, I watched one game where they wouldn't even give the ball to Ben Simmons. And Antonio Black, and he's
so inconsistent.
And then, I mean, that was the game Simmons fouled out in overtime. I turned it off. LSU's not going to win without Ben Simmons. I mean...
Yeah, and they're struggling. They almost lost to North Florida. They've had a couple bad losses thus far.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to figure it. Someone's got to step up behind Ben Simmons. Because this man scored 43, and also had double against North Florida. They only won by 11. And we're not talking about
Yeah.
him scoring 43, winning by 10 against a quality opponent. North Florida, it's not a major program here. You gotta beat them by more.
Now, give me one more player that you're really looking forward to, can make a name.
I mean, let's look at Denzel Valentine.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Michigan State. This man can do it all. He's just a guy you've seen develop over his career at Michigan State.
Certainly, yeah.
A classic Tom Izzo guy.
Yeah, oh,
I mean,
unbelievable.
let's look at guys like Payne. Guys, you see freshman year, their struggle, but you see them consistently grow, and by senior year, they're players to watch nationally.
Yeah, and it always seems, Michigan State, they always seem to find their way in. Last year, the only 7 seed, the only non-1 seed to make the Final Four. Tom Izzo, unbelievable. As you mentioned, Keith Appling, Drew Neitzel, bringing it way back. DeJuan Blair, he's unbelievable. Now, as you mentioned, Denzel Valentine, more of a 34 kind of guy, but he's unbelievable. He's great. He has a weird technique with his shooting, but he has it. Who am I to criticize? He's unbelievable. He basically averages a triple-double against great opponents like Louisville, who they beat. He's just unbelievable. Tom Izzo, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
And you know what else I'm looking forward to? Our next podcast.
Definitely. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed.